Penguin, Pain and Prejudice number 4, written by Greg Hurwitz, art by Zyman Kudransky. We left off last issue with Penguin ordering a hit on some celebrity couple in order to steal a ring for his new girlfriend, and Batman found some evidence that can link some henchmen to the scene of the crime, so he has a lead. This issue picks up with those same henchmen. They're packing up all their money and getting out of town because they don't want to do another job for Penguin. They hear some noises outside the window. They go and take a look, and it's Batman. Charges in, immediately starts beating the crap out of them. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to ask you guys a few questions. So Penguin is driving home with his girlfriend, and he's like, she's so happy about the ring. When, as they pull up, they see the three henchmen all dangling from a rope from a street lamp. And there's a bunch of reporters there all recording stuff. Penguin tries to shoo him away, but then a cop comes up and arrests Penguin because the three dangling guys identified Penguin as the guy who hired them. And one of the cops sees the girlfriend's ring and starts trying to take it off her hand without her understanding what was going on. We cut later inside the police precinct. Penguin's being interrogated, and he's just like, I'm shocked that was stolen. I have a legitimate receipt of purchase from a reputable dealer. And he's just like, yeah, well, sure you do. Look, we know your game, Penguin. And he's just like, you guys protect all the bullies. You protect the people that like look like you and act like you or tough like you. Those celebrities, of course, they're all spoiled and rich kids that all just have that special flair to them. Me, how am I any different? Because I look different. That's the only thing. Because I look like the underbelly. You all look like you, and I look like me. And my lawyer is going to get me out of here in like 5 minutes. So then we cut to the car. He says he wants to stop by his mother's grave before they head back home. He goes in and he talks to his mom for a second of how they're still laughing at him. And he sees the mechanical penguin that he left there, and he picks it up and takes it back home with him. We see him taking the helper bot thing that he left for his mom and just start repurposing it, basically. His girlfriend comes down and is just like, oh, Oswald, I heard you come home. Are you all right? What's these things? And Oswald like has a moment where he's very silent and he has a very sharp knife like right next to her, and he's not answering any of her questions. And then eventually he's like, I'm sorry, I've just had a horrible day. How about you go upstairs and get ready for bed? I'll be up in a minute. She's like, well, what are you going to do in the meantime? He's like, me? Oh, I'm just getting ready. So then we go to an opera scene where Penguin has a balcony and he's allowing his girlfriend's there with him. They're enjoying the scene, and then Batman swoops in and literally steals the girlfriend from beside Penguin. I don't know why I was blanking on that without him noticing. And he basically tries to tell her, like, hey, Oswald Cobblepot is not a good man. He is an awful person and you don't know who you're dealing with. And she's basically like, you're the one who just grabbed me without my consent. You just stole me away from my boyfriend. Why should I trust you? He's gentle, he's kind. And he's like, you're blind. And he's like, yeah, and? So Batman just tries to convince her, but he brings her back down, sets her back there, and Cassandra basically is like, oh, I'm sorry, I got lost going to the bathroom. She doesn't tell Cobblepot that Batman just tried to convince her of that. Then we cut to GCPD later, and Batman's talking to Gordon because all those issues ago when Gordon tried to convince Batman to get involved in this because of what Penguin did to that one guy, like just ruined his life from the outside in. Batman comes up to him and he's just like, hey, so I looked into your daughter's friend. When he attempted suicide, he was at that club, the Iceberg Lounge, to sell ecstasy. He's not the good kid that you said he was. And he's like, well, what are you saying, Batman? And he's like, that line in the sand between us and them, we helped draw it too. So Batman's a little critical of that as well. So then we see Penguin is enacting a plan. Meanwhile, Cassandra's just there reading a book, and he's launched this penguin-shaped rocket across Gotham. And in its wake is this, it's attracting all the birds, a la like Batman Begins with the bats. This is attracting all the birds, and he fires it towards an elementary school where it just, all the birds go incredibly hostile. They're crashing through windows and attacking children. Batman sees it. He tries to intercept, but basically it just knocks him over down onto the ground. He tries to like punch its control system to damage it, but it spirals out because Penguin's controlling it, and Batman just lands with a thud on the ground as the rocket makes its escape. Or no, sorry, it does crash, but the birds all just fly away because it was the only thing that was controlling it. So Penguin's leaving that place with the bunch of rooms that he goes to. There's a panel with the Joker dressed as a panda entering. Again, I don't know why, but immediately the thugs around Penguin are knocked out. And Penguin just talks to the darkness for a second. He's like, all you have is a flying penguin with no traceable parts or fingerprints. Yeah, it does seem like something I would do, but you have rules being on the side of good, and you need actual proof I did it. So you better get some. And Batman just pops out and he's like, I will. And then we have a final scene where Penguin like turns the corner. He goes into one of the secret rooms, and in there is just this arsenal of at least 200 of those Penguin rockets ready to go at any moment. So yeah, that's where we leave off. Penguin has gone off the deep end here. He is ready to go for blood after just everybody. I'm loving this. It's doing a morality play as well of like, is Batman really in the right? Like, he just trusted Jim's word of who was good and who was bad, but then when he did his own research, he realized that the dude would probably be someone that Batman would beat up in most circumstances. So I'm loving this. It's a fantastic story. It looks beautiful. The art is fantastic. Very dark, very moody. I cannot overstate how surprised I am by this entire series. The weird, like, Rocket Penguin thing, it's getting a bit kooky, but it's still staying in a realm of, okay, there's a guy who dresses as bats. This is okay as well. So overall, I'm going to give this one a 7. I think it's very well done, and I would highly suggest checking it out so far. So far being, it's got 2 issues left, and I really hope it sticks the landing.